We're going to be making a simple pattern that you could use to make a dress, a jacket, a vest, or another shirt. So it's best that you have a long sleeve shirt like this one, or you can use a tank top if that's the only thing that you have, or a short sleeve shirt will work as well. But if you're gonna make a long sleeve jacket or a long sleeve shirt, you're just gonna have to extend the arms on it when you're drawing out your pattern on paper. So the first thing that you're gonna do is get a shirt that you don't really care about. I got a long sleeve shirt that I really don't care about anymore, and you will cut the seams for the arms and the seams on the side, and then you should end up with 4 pieces. You don't have to worry about the neck part, just the seams on the arms and the sides. The first thing you'll want to do is fold your paper in half. It's easy for me to do because I have a rectangle, a perfect rectangle. And you're going to place about half the sleeve on your paper. So I'm placing about half of the sleeve on my paper. And when that's there, sometimes I like to use my masking tape to hold my fabric to the paper, but sometimes I don't do that. But I'm going to estimate about halfway, that's about half, and I'm going to trace all around my sleeve. And when I'm done, I'm going to add about a ½ inch to it for the seam allowance, and because I want it to be a little bit bigger, because this was knit fabric and it was stretchy, so I want it to be a little bit bigger than it actually was, so I'm gonna make it a ½ inch bigger. And then when you're done cutting it out and you open it, it's gonna be like this. This is my finished product. And you would want to mark it. I didn't mark this one because it's obvious that it's the sleeve, but I'm going to do it anyways. And when I'm making patterns for similar products like the sleeve, the shirt, and they all go together, when I write on it, I like to use the same color so that I know that this, when I'm using it in the future, I will want to know that this belongs to this. And now for the back, this is the back piece. And you're gonna do the same thing again. You're gonna fold your paper in half. You see this is half. And you're gonna place it. You're gonna place about halfway. I actually folded this one in half as I did here. And I placed it right here. And I traced all around. And I added a ½ inch again, just like last time. And this is, I actually ended up needing a little bit more. I didn't really need it because my jacket is gonna be to my belly button, but if you were making a full jacket, this is what you would have to do. You would have to add a piece of paper to the end like I did here. You can see where I connected it with the masking tape. I didn't mean to record that, but my camera died and I didn't realize. So that's the back. I have my sleeve, and I was just doing the front, and the front is kind of tricky now. So for the front, I did the same thing, but folding the paper in half, and I ended up cutting the front of my shirt in half because the material wasn't cooperating the way I expected it to. So where I cut it in half right here, this is where I cut it cut it in half right down here. So I placed this half on my paper and I traced it all the way around, added a half an inch as I did. The front part is going to be a little tricky. You're going to need to add about 5 to 6 inches, I would say, on the front part so you could cover up your bust, but I'm not covering up all of mine, so I only added 1.5 inches and it's going to be open a little bit. But if you wanted to add buttons or buttonholes or a zipper, you need to add on some more so it can actually close, but I'm not doing this design, so I'm only doing 1/2 inch. Add it. And when I was done, this is the final project. This is how it looks. I am using this piece of paper and my masking tape to extend the front of my jacket across my bust. I'm only adding 1.5 inches, but if you want your bust to be completely covered up, then you're going to have to add at least 5 to 6 inches, depending on how big your busts are. I would recommend you going with a bigger measurement than smaller, because if it's too big, you can always go back, but if it's too small, there's a lot of improvising you're going to have to do. That's about fine. And my line is right here. I'm gonna estimate about right here. I'm gonna do it right here just to be safe. So this is the front of my jacket. So I have the front that I'm going to be using, the sleeve, and the back. All here. So for the front part, of course, you're gonna need to cut 2. I just cut my jacket as short as I wanted it to be because I'm about to take it to the fabric right now. Right here, I am just cutting out my sleeves from my jacket. As you can see, my right sides are up, but just do it the regular way with the wrong sides facing you. I have no idea why I do this. I just think I like to see what I'm actually dealing with. The more advanced I got with sewing, the more I started skipping steps. Now I hardly to never put any pins down, especially if the fabric is heavy enough to keep itself together. It's a bad habit and I won't recommend anybody doing this. And this is my finished jacket here. Well, it's not completely done, but for the most part it's done. So the first thing that I did when I made this jacket is I put I had the back, and I added the front to it, here and here. And then when I first stitched it, I stitched these parts up here by the shoulder, and then I did the sides, and then I added the sleeves. And I'm not 100% done yet. I have to hem the sleeves in here. When you're doing this, I really do not like to hand sew, but I forgot to take it to the machine before I closed it up. So now I'm gonna have to go in and hand sew this hem closed, which is gonna be a better result than me doing it on the machine. But this is the finished product. And remember, if you want your this jacket is just simple. It doesn't have any buttons or any zipper, but I will be making a jacket like that in the future with a zipper, some with buttons, buttonholes. But this jacket does not cover up the breast. But if you want your bust to be covered, you're gonna have to make it a lot bigger.